welcome to Hedgehog Hollow. So today again we have another viewer requested video and I'm going to kind of combine a couple of things together. So somebody asked me to teach a video on watercolor resist. So we're going to be combining that with a review on something that I bought myself recently. I bought these new Brutus Monroe neon watercolors. So we're going to be testing those out, doing a kind of review, and at the same time I'm going to be teaching you some watercolor resist. So we're going to combine them together. If you have a request for a video, you know what to do by now. Drop them in the comments below. We try to read, we do read every single comment. We try to respond to as many as we can. We do read them all. So the first thing we need is our MISTI or stamp platform, whichever one you like to use. And I'm using my tip for using larger stamps. So my sticky grid is on the bottom this time, so it's underneath. So I felt side to the top, and I'm using my trick with the Easy Clean mat and my smaller piece of sticky grid. If you didn't see that video, you can check it out in that top right hand corner as always. But this still works, so no magnets required. I'm using this set by Picket Studios. It's the Wild at Heart Gypsy Soul. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to pull this one out, just like this. So we're going to pull this stamp off. As you know, I am on a mission to try to ink as many of my stamps as possible. I'm going to keep the feathers on here and just kind of push the stamps off the top, the flowers off this top rather. So I'm just going to make sure that goes over here. I'm just going to give this a wipe over with some stamp cleaner. It does feel like there's a little bit more of that release chemical on my photopolymer than I would like. If you want to find more out about conditioning new stamps, again, check out that top right hand corner. I have some tips and tricks in there. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a clean. That feels better. So first thing, powder deactivator. Because I'm using a larger stamp, I've just gone with my big guy here rather than my little one. I'm just going to be quite generous with this, like so. And now I'm using my Nuvo Clear Mark, which is my preferred option for embossing ink. So just give it some nice coverage and flip it over. And I have to say I'm a bit of a CPR stamper. Sorry, Tim, I can't help it, it's just me. Now, because I have a fairly detailed stamp and I'm on light cardstock, I'm working on watercolor cardstock. This is the Craft Perfect Tonic watercolor cardstock, cut down the A2 size. I am going to do it twice because it's textured. I can't really see what I'm doing on there. So I'm going to do it twice. So again, flip it over, give it a nice good press. Make sure I've got everything. I want to make sure I've got all those pretty floral details, all those feather details. Of course, I never really know if I've got it until the end. Okay, so we're going to hope for the best. You can kind of tilt it and see if you've got most things. I think I do, but we'll see how it goes. Of course, there's always a second side to your paper. That's what I say. I'm going to pop that one off to the side. And I'm going to apply some Nuvo white embossing powder. I like using the fine. Again, as always, links in the video description. If you're watching on a mobile device, click the arrow in the bottom right hand corner and it will expand out for you. Also, I like doing it with the spoon. It gives me a little bit more control. And these are my little tidy trays that have the funnel on there. This is just nice and easy. Also, it's showing me where I've picked up and where I haven't. It's a little bit harder to see, even for me. I know it's particularly hard on the camera, but because I'm doing white on white, it's going to be harder to see where my powder's stuck, where it hasn't, you know, all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to give it a good inspection. Okay, excess powder removal, quick flick on the back, and I can see a little bit there. And so you can just fill in any gaps that you've got. Like so. So I can kind of see, I know it's a little bit harder to pick up, but you can kind of see that there's a little bit of powder on there, but you're going to see more as it evolves. So it's kind of like a little bit of a magical technique on there. So white on white, of course, is always harder to see, but you're going to see as this piece evolves. So this is how that resist technique goes. Now you can use any embossing powder for watercolor resist. So you could use black, you could use gold, you could use silver, you could use blue, you can use pink. I mean, whatever color you want to do. I want to do white because it's going to pop beautifully against these neons. Now you're going to heat set it, and heat setting it is important. I mean, otherwise it's just going to rub off. Again, it's going to be a little bit harder to see, but for me, it's turning from a powder to a gloss. And actually, from my perspective, it's turning even harder to see. So as it's melting into the embossed enamel, I'm just seeing from kind of an off-white powder granule that's sitting on my surface, it's kind of becoming invisible. So that's the difference that I'm seeing here. And I'm using the Wagner heat tool. I also really like the Wow heat tool. I just grabbed whichever was first in my hand. And this one also happens to be plugged in, whereas my Wow one isn't. But I do have a review on the Wow heat tool as well, which you can check out on the channel. Now you want to make sure that everything is set, because as soon as you put water on it, or of course as soon as you touch it too, it would just wipe off if it wasn't already set. So I'm just going to make sure my surface is clean of powder because I don't want it getting in my watercolors. And the best thing for that is your surface sweep. So just give it a nice dust off. And I'm just going to double check everything. You want to kind of check that it's glossy. Because it's white, it's even harder to see. But what you're going to see is it's a nice glossy surface. Okay, so now we get to see the magic happen. So I'm using, as I say, these Brutus Monroe Aqua pigments, and these are the new neon ones. Again, I'll link everything in the description for you. But I'm going to take some of these, and this is the fab thing about working on this Tim Holtz mat, is that it has this palette area that we can work on. So we have a pink, we have a red, I don't know, this is, and they do have a safety top on them, which of course, if like me, you have little ones, is great because they're not going to get into your watercolors and you're not going to end up with watercolor everywhere. Got the orange. You can see the beautiful, beautiful colors. They're going to pop perfectly. We have our yellow. And then we have a green. And we have a blue. And we can mix colours too. Like so. And these are all made in the US. So these are actually made at Brutus Monroe. It's an amazing process. And I'm going to grab my rinse well. So if you haven't seen this tool, this is amazing. Again, they are all in my favorite things. There's reviews on the channel, all those kinds of things. So mine has just got stuck. I'm just going to pop it back together like this. This is one of the best tools you're ever going to come across because it has this little canister and then it has this canister of water, which I'm just going to tip upside down. And we're just going to let it fill up for the first time. And so what it does is it allows me to have my clean water all the time. And then when it gets dirty, I just press my little plunger, it goes underneath. And then if I turn this the right way around, it will, there we go, automatically refill with clean water, which is just amazing. So here I also have my favorite silver black velvet brush. This is the number 8. And again, I'll link this in the description. These are all available at Ellen Hudson. She often has them on sale too. Plus you can use our Perks coupon, 10% off. So check out becoming a Perks member. We'd love to have you. You can also save money at Ranger and at Thermoweb. You can also get free shipping from Pink and Main and Sunny Studios and some amazing places. Now I'm just more going to do a wash kind of technique, but what you're going to see is some of these really fun designs up here. So I'm going to add some pink. I'm going to go for some orange. I'm going to go with some blue. I'm just going to kind of try out all these bright colours. Aren't they cool colours? I'm going to go with some of the yellow. And what you'll notice is that embossing that I put on is resisting the watercolour because it's essentially an enamel. So you can start just kind of adding colours. You could add it, you could of course do full colouring if you wanted to. You could add more pink here. I'm going to add some more orange over here. I'm going to add some pink here to create more of a purpley colour. I'll have some more yellow up here. And then we can take our heat tool again. I'm going to take my Heat It tool this time because it has a lower airflow, so it's not going to move any of my water around. It's also not going to remelt my embossing powder, which is quite important for this technique. You could of course leave it to air dry if you were being patient, which I'm not. As you all know, I am an impatient and lazy crafter, so these are my hacks for doing things quickly. Grab that Ranger Heat It tool and give it a good dry. And if there's an area that you want to add a bit more colour into, you can go back in, make it pop a little bit more, make it fade out a bit more. And the rinse belt also has places on the side for you to stand your brushes up so you can dry them, which I think is great. And so we can also turn it over to straighten out our paper. So I'm just going to pull a bit more orange in here to make these flowers pop. So I'm just kind of pulling colours together. Just having fun. Really just seeing what these colours can do. And so you can see there how it started to reveal our pattern because that heat embossing has resisted that watercolour. You can see we've got some fun colours going on, how the watercolours have come together. You could also add them into spray bottles and then dilute them with water to create your own kind of fun neon coloured sprays. So many different things you can do with them, but I really like how kind of fun and bright and vibrant. You could water them down to make kind of more subdued colours as well. They also have a really nice thickness to those liquid watercolours, which I like too. So rather than being kind of some of the thinner watercolours, they've got a really nice thickness to them. When I kind of put my paintbrush through that, you can see there's just a nice thickness. It's not quite an acrylic paint. It's not quite the kind of gouache paints. but it's also thicker than some other liquid watercolors out there, and I really like that as well. So you've got lots of options, lots of different ways you can play with those paints. So that's really how watercolor resist works. Lots of different options. To say you can kind of do this wash and create something a little bit more free and loose, or you can go in and then do the paints as well. But what you want to do is do your heat embossing underneath, and you can use any color you like. I like the white because it kind of does a magic technique of popping out afterwards. Or you can use a color, and then you can paint, or you can do a wash all over, and that's really how it works. It just pops afterwards. The watercolor will automatically be resisted by your heat embossing. So super simple. Thank you so much for joining me here today. As always, don't forget, links are in the video description for you. Don't forget to become a Perks member. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and of course hit that join button, and give us a thumbs up. All those things help us so very much. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time of your day here at Hedgehog Hollow. I will see you again tomorrow with a tip, trick, tutorial, maybe something a little bit different as well. You never know. I'll see you then. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye.